Okay, so at this point, everybody knows who Brother Maverick is. Like, if you've seen this channel, you obviously know who Brother Maverick is. He's a bad faith Christian actor. But recently, I decided to, test him again. See if he's still got that gut in him. Which he definitely does have a gut in him, but I'm talking about a different kind of gut, you know what I'm saying? But basically, a 13-year-old decided to debate Brother Maverick, and Brother Maverick got fucking shattered by a 13-year-old on basic atheism. Of course, I'm the educator. I know how these contradictions and stuff work. Brother Maverick barely knows what a contradiction is. And if you put a gun to this guy's head, he wouldn't be able to recite the 3 laws of logic. Like, this is who we're dealing with. And we're trying to talk about contradictions with him. So, here's the 13-year-old's debate against Brother Maverick. Brother Maverick was incredibly bad faith, and I'm just going to point out some of the obvious things in this conversation.
On God's existence, I don't think it's possible.
You can. I mean, we can talk about it shortly, but I mean, I'll be kind because I'm not going to be like other people. We do have the topic is, can you solve the Islamic dilemma? All right, so we'll talk about that for now. I'll give you a few minutes. I'll let you make your opening statement. What do you think, that God doesn't exist?
Okay, he says he's going to be kind. Let's see if that works out. But another thing I want to know is he decided to switch to debating Muslims because they annihilated him on atheism. Like, every single time he got into a debate with an atheist, he just got fucking destroyed. That's why he switched to Islam. Because Islam's full of retarded people. I don't know.
Yeah.
Okay, and why do you think God doesn't exist?
I think it's impossible because change is time, and time is a physical law. A being that is non-physical cannot subject itself to physical laws. Therefore,
Stop.
God is a non-physical.
You can see the light up in his eyes. He's terrified.
Stop
When he's trying to provide an answer to the question that you just asked him. Very Brother Maverick-like of him.
Okay,
I already had an atheist come on this channel and try to repeat that same nonsense, right? So if you cannot get past this point, I'm going to boot you out of here. All right. I have been the rules the rules are in my description for a reason. Okay. If you are going to make assertions, you had better be able to prove with some semblance of evidence that God, being immaterial, cannot interact with a material world that he created. What is your evidence that God cannot interact with the material world that he created, being an immaterial being? You're saying it's a contradiction. What is your proof that it is a contradiction? I don't give a damn. You can give me a mathematical formula. You can give me something. But if it's just your assertion that it is a contradiction, I'm not interested in what you have to say. So what is your proof that he cannot interact with the physical world and that it is a contradiction?
This is exactly who he's mentioning. Oh, another atheist decided to do this with me. He knows who he's talking about. He's scarred by my fucking argument. Like, the second I came in with it for the second time, he was like traumatized. Like, seriously, look at his eyes. He's been losing sleep over this shit.
I want you to prove to me and the world, mathematically, astrophysically, or otherwise, that it is impossible, that it is a contradiction for God living outside of our dimension, being immaterial as we understand him, to interact with a material world. You continue to say it is a contradiction. I absolutely eviscerated another atheist on this channel, or someone who called himself a physicalist, for making that very same assertion. You're saying that it is a contradiction. What evidence do you have that it is a contradiction?
Okay, and once again, he can't help but mentioning me. It's crazy how the one-sided obsession is with this dude. He's one-sided obsessed with me. He's obsessed with me in every single conceivable way. I don't know how often he talks about me, but this is crazy. An atheist, supposedly called a physicalist. I don't even think he knows what physicalism is, because I was debating with him in the comment section where he said physicalism is going to be false because of something that's not related to physicalism, like at all. Like, he could provide multiple different other arguments that are going to be substantive that are actually going to prove physicalism is false. He has no concept of what physicalism is. I don't see why he keeps bringing it up. He's like obsessed with like this title that I adopted simply because he said that the mind, your immaterial mind, can interact with the physical world, which I just reject the first premise. I just think that the mind is not immaterial. So I don't see why he's so hyperfixated on this point of calling me a physicalist.
Okay, well, can I finish the argument and then it will get to that?
Well, no, I don't need you to.
No, you can't finish the argument that proves that God interacting with the physical world is a contradiction. Oh, he's asking for proof, but he doesn't want to hear the argument. It's crazy.
Exactly what I'm talking about. You don't get to come in here and make assertions when you're not intellectually prepared to prove that the assertion
He has a whole goddamn syllogism that he's given you. He's intellectually prepared.
is true. What the hell is your physical proof that God cannot interact
Why is he asking for physical proof now? I thought he was asking for mathematical proof at first.
with the physical world and that it is a contradiction?
He's getting so aggressive too. He's getting really mad.
What is it? I'm not going to ask you again.
So, if you let me finish the argument, your answer is in it, okay? So, will you listen?
You have 2 minutes.
P1, change is time. P2, time is a physical law. P3, a being that is non-physical cannot subject itself to physical laws. P4, a god is a non-physical being. P5, creating the universe requires change and ultimately time. P6, if God is both the creator and non-physical, that infers a contradiction.
Bro, he's fucking hidden in anxiety pen like he's fucking Dean or something.
Do you disagree with the inference there?
I disagree with it under the premise that you have not yet provided any evidence.
That's the argument! Is he retarded? He just gave the argument. The argument is, if it's the case that change is time and time is going to be a physical law, when God subjects himself to physical laws, that means he's subjecting himself to something that's physical. If he subjects himself to something that's physical, that's going to be a contradiction to his nature, which there's two different natures that could contradict. First, him being non-physical, and second, him being omnipotent. Whichever route he wants to take, it's perfectly fine. Or even him being changeless. Like, there's multiple different contradictions you can derive from time being a physical law. So if he agrees that time is a physical law, it's obviously going to be the case. There's multiple different contradictions you can derive. So yes, the argument provides that.
That anything that you're saying is true. All you did was repeat the lie, and
Where did he repeat it?
in the argument that you're making, in the explanation that you're making. So, are you almost done, or what are we doing here?
He just proved
Wait,
it.
so
You're trying to set it up as a syllogism. I know what you're trying to do. I have debunked this argument before. So, what? Okay, what is your evidence that God interacting with the physical creation that he put into existence is a contradiction? You guys, I know where you guys are coming from. I know what you're trying to say, and I know that none of you have actual tangible proof, not even a mathematical formula to prove that what you're saying is true. Do you believe that your mind and your brain are the same thing?
Wait, say that again?
Do you believe that your mind and your brain are the exact same thing?
No.
Your mind is your thought process, something completely separate, right? Your thoughts, which are immaterial. But
Oh, big mistake from Brother Maverick. Just because the brain and the mind are different doesn't mean that it implies that thoughts have to be immaterial, right? Like, just because there's a distinction between the brain and mind doesn't mean the mind has to be non-physical or something like that. Like, this is some sort of confused argument when you're talking about substance dualism when it comes to philosophy of mind. He has no clue what he's talking about. This is like a false inference.
but yet still your thoughts and the things that are immaterial as that come as a result of your thought process, which also is immaterial, still cause your body to move every single day as a result of what is going on in your brain, which translates into your thought process, which is immaterial, which is not a contradiction, right? And yet you're stating that God cannot interact with the physical universe because immaterial entities cannot interact with the material world, even though immaterial entities interact with the material world every single day. So I'm going to ask you for a third time. What is your proof that an immaterial being interacting with a material world is a contradiction?
What's your epistemic justification for dualism being true?
Okay.
Okay. It's a valid question, all right? You made an inference, Brother Maverick, if you're watching this right now. You made an inference that because the brain and the mind are not the same thing or not identical, that means the mind has to be non-physical. So to sum it up, you're basically saying if there's a distinction between the brain and the mind must be physical. That's what he's asking for proof of, because you're supposedly a substance dualist when it comes to this, because you believe that there are physical things and you believe that there are non-physical things, especially when it comes to the context of the mind. You're saying that the mind is non-physical, thoughts are non-physical, but the brain is physical, and the brain produces things like your arm moving, for example. That's precisely what's in question. That's why he's asking you. You made a false inference based on his agreement that there's a difference between the mind and the brain.
I'm going to ask you again because you're pivoting now.
Oh my God, he's not pivoting. You made this assertion. You're the one that's saying that there's also all the time that there's immaterial things that are interacting with the physical world. That's not true. You made a false inference. Now you want him to prove that your false inference is true?
Because I cornered you.
This guy's a joke. What did you corner him on? Nothing.
This is exactly what I'm talking about. You are the reason why I stopped talking to atheists.
Yeah, because his argument's like goated. He's overpowered. He's overstimulated right now. That's why he quit talking to atheists.
Because you're cowards. I'm asking you
Oh my god, you're the coward. You're not answering this question.
a question that you didn't think that I was prepared for, and now you are trying to justify it, and you're trying to act like I didn't ask it, and not only are you insulting me and my subscribers, you are trying to answer my question with a question that has nothing to do with the original premise of the conversation. You came in here, you set up a false syllogism, and then when I crushed you on it, you're now trying to ask me a separate question. For time number 4 and the last time, what is your evidence that an immaterial God cannot interact with a physical
dude.
damn world? What is your evidence? Saying it's a contradiction doesn't make it so. If you don't have any basis to back it up, if you don't have any math, if you don't have any physics, if you don't have any
my God.
biology, if you don't have something to back it up, then you are just making a baseless assertion. What is your evidence?
So you can't give the epistemic justification. Thank you for the concession.
I didn't concede to anything.
Destroyed.
I didn't concede to anything.
You refuse to give an epistemic justification. So
You refused to answer my question 4 times.
He did.
I
in the
asked you
syllogism.
simply to provide evidence for a claim that you made, and you couldn't do it. Pumpkin pie fan. You came in here.
What the fuck is that? Pumpkin pie fan. I don't know why this dude thinks he's so tough. Like, look at this fucking haircut. Fucking skin ass fade. Fucking cop wannabe ass man. Bro,
You made a
that
claim
was not tough.
that I eviscerated you on, and now you're asking a separate question, and then
You're
you're
not a good
doing what
debater.
atheists love to do. Well, thank you for your concession. You're not gonna use your 7-year-old tactics in here. It doesn't work on me.
You're
Okay,
so mean.
Because with the same logic that you're trying to use on me, I'm now going to use on you and say thank you for your concession. I'm gonna say thank you for your concession that you have no evidence that God cannot interact with the physical world.
He
To
just
say
gave the
nothing of the
evidence.
fact that I asked you multiple times. So what I do to you is I do this.
He kicked him.
Because you came in here with your Dr. Alpha type arguments, and you got
There's the mention again.
you didn't answer my question. What question did you answer? And then he left.
He kicked him. No. I saw that, motherfucker. I saw that. I saw you put your hand on the fucking mouse button like that. You kicked him.
Do not come in my channel asking questions that you're gonna get smashed on, and do not come in here thinking that when I tell you that you're gonna explain and you're gonna prove that what you're saying is true, that you're just gonna go ahead and pivot to another question and then say, "Well, thanks for conceding." I didn't concede to anything. The only
You
thing that
did.
we conceded to was the fact that you have no idea
You couldn't
what
give
you're
an
talking
epistemic
about.
justification for dualism being true. On a further note, you didn't actually respond to the argument he gave, even though he answered your question multiple different times. You asked for evidence that God interacting with the physical world is going to be a contradiction. He gave you the evidence. You didn't deny any of the premises. You just said, that's a false syllogism. Like, it's valid. The inference rule is valid. Every single thing about it is valid. You probably couldn't recite any of the premises because you weren't listening. You were hitting your anxiety pen while he was talking to you about that. Virgin ass. Look at this. This is like proof that you lost the debate. Like, if you make this sort of face, you know you're going wrong in life. Like, this is the type of face you make when you're compensating all the life mistakes you made at your motherfucking mother's funeral or something like that. Like, what is this face? You're telling me you're winning the debate, W concession, when you look like this? Mr. Potato looking ass?
So thank you for playing the game. Thank you for pretending like you knew what you were talking about. But
He did. You didn't have a clue what you were talking about.
at the end of the day, you might want to go to a channel and hunt for a Christian channel that actually is going to sit there and give into your nonsense. I don't know. I mean, I asked you for something that was very easy to give, right? Because you can say all you want that something is a contradiction, but you're not ready to prove it. And you know why you can't prove it? Because it can't be proved. And just because you started believing it, one day doesn't mean that it's true, right? So at the end of the day, atheism loses once again. This is why I stopped talking to you guys, because it's pointless. And you guys think that your idiotic little attempt at playground third grade reverse psychology to thank you for your concession. Are you stupid? Have you been deprived of oxygen or something? I mean, what are you talking about here?
I don't know why he keeps doing this. This is Brother Maverick. He got eviscerated by a 13-year-old along with me, along with like every single person on like the atheist side. And he just wants to like pick at sub 70 IQ Muslims now. It's pretty cringe. Yeah, but that's it for today's video. Make sure to like and subscribe so we can continue these. And yeah, love you, Brother Maverick. Please unban me from your channel and unban me from your Discord. Thank you.